Salute to you all. The brave never fall. Self-love through freedom and connection. So feel free to connect to the brave never fall on these social media platforms. If you find anything of value in this following podcast, hit that like button, subscribe and share, and support the brave and bold tribe growing one purposeful soul at a time. How are you feeling? Take a moment to do a self-check-in for yourself. How are you feeling mentally? How are you feeling emotionally? How are you feeling physically? How are you feeling spiritually? Are you feeling balanced? Are you still journeying on an intentional, purposeful path? How are you feeling? Balancing yourself is a healthy daily practice that will reliably keep you in harmony with your entire mind, body, heart, and soul. Clear your mind. Take a moment of silence for yourself right now in the moment. You are here now. How are you feeling? Love with your heart. Be disciplined in your mind, respectful of your body, and believe with all your soul. This is a nice balance that I believe for myself has helped me every single day with every single situation that comes up, no matter what it is, no matter what comes my way, no matter what I saw a mile away or what I didn't see. If you go down these quadrants and you start with whichever quadrant is a priority to you, because everyone's different. Someone's body may be the focal point. Someone's mind may be. Someone's heart, someone's soul. My goal was always to balance them out, because then I'm complete. I'm not focusing on something so heavily that the weight of my body being in the best condition it can be in is taken away from my soul, meaning I'm not a great person, but I look great. And the same with the mind. You may be very intelligent, but you're emotionless. Your heart needs some work. You need some empathy, some compassion. Working on these things is difficult because it's not something you can go buy to fix. It all has to come from you. Every single one of those things has to come from you. And it has to be a focal point. It has to be something that you are aiming at, that you are attacking. You are choosing to be better in your mind, your heart, and your soul, and in your body. To be disciplined about it. To know who you are. To not be afraid of who you are. To take on the challenge, the greatest challenge in life, which is getting to know who you are and executing a purpose that you know you were meant to execute, and not running away and hiding from it as if it's some type of monster about to attack you out of the closet. When you go in to start your day, it comes out and attacks you. You're only attacking yourself. Your responsibility each day is to know a little bit more about yourself than you did the day before. A life of love is living. We all start from the beginning, as canvases void of color, culture, or race. We grow to cross bold lines that paint a picture of our face. We love hard, and love even harder with our faith. Who we are can never be erased if our values are held firmly in place. And those who chase dark dreams and false realities will eventually fall to nightmares and cold eventualities. Time to wake up a few lost souls. Time to save some lives. Time to see the evolution of human potential. Time to open up all the windows. Time to raise the blinds. Minds need to think clearly now, especially now. You are here now. How did fear turn to hate so easily? Every direction we see forms of fear and bias. People's tears. They're crying. Out to feel alive when we feel unbalanced. We'll only cheer when we're in alignment. Live through love. Warm hugs, kind words, a shoulder to lean on when life's at bat about to get its swing on. The light within you will beam strong, guiding you right back to the path you left and seemed to go wrong in so short amount of time you seem to go so long. Mother Earth and her inhabitants aren't your enemy, but bad habits, no discipline. They're excuses. They'll crack the symmetry of your mission. Listen, learn, laugh, level up. You're not breathless. We are here now to carry out the life of love we've been blessed with from whatever higher power you believe gave you breath. It's not a cosmic mistake. You came to be in this world. Shake this victim's mentality that aches. Living in love is beautiful, painless, shameless, aimless. Minds hide when it's time to rise higher than the average girl and guy. We judge ourselves by our peers. No wonder we live in fear. It appears a leap of faith lands on the rocks. Washed away by the waves, we disappear. Wake up. Rise. Why do we shrink to the occasion whenever we face an ugly situation that's really beautiful underneath the vanilla sky? We see our own truths in the clouds above, to each his own. To love to live, or live to love. You are more than enough. Far more than enough. You can overcome anything if you believe in yourself with all your love. Live to love, love to live. Episode 12. The end of the color wave of red. This has been a devotion to love. A devotion to the awareness and recognition of who we are. And a good starting point for anybody, anyone in the world who is looking to start to work on themselves from the inside out. Externally, physically, we can do a lot of things as human beings. We know physically we can lose weight if we really want to lose weight. We can gain weight if we know we want to gain weight. Our bodies can be ripped apart, whether it's through war or just an accident. Our bodies are fragile, but they are tough. They're much tougher than what we give ourselves credit for. Our exteriors are the body, the vessel that the soul drives is a powerful machine. It's a beautiful work of art. And it should be viewed as a thing of love, not as a thing to create violence, hate, malevolence, and all other sorts of things in this world that we fear. Let's talk about fear for a second. Fear is one of those things that would drive love into the ground with a bulldozer. It will reconstruct your foundation, tear down your house, leave you stranded, hopeless. Because fear lives within. There's nothing you can do externally to fight against it. You can be in the best shape ever. You can have the most money, the best house, the best spouse, the best children, the best damn dog at the dog show. Doesn't matter. If the fear in your heart is overcome and it's just coursing through you like a disease, it is no different than if you actually had a full-blown disease. It will make you a person who has absolutely no reason to live if you succumb to the full extent of what fear is. And a lot of times it's masked, and that's what makes it so scary. Fear is often masked by one of the strangest things. I tried to really dive deep into this when I was thinking about this color wave, and I was thinking about red and love, and I really dove deep into love and the psychology of it and why we overcomplicate it so much. And I try to simplify it with these 12 episodes with being something that is real, not something that is made up through a film or through a story or what your friends are telling you, what your family tell you. What you feel through your experiences, through your life, and how you live to love and how you love to live. It is a powerful, powerful thing when you get there. And when I dove into it, you have to start digging down into the layers. You can't just stop at one layer and say, I think I understand that one. Good enough. No, it's not good enough. You have to keep going further. And that's where the fear is. It's beneath that layer of you saying good enough. The people that you see that are smiling, that are happy, they haven't dug deep enough into them, because we all have demons. We all have something in us that we're afraid of. And we can attack it, but it will always be another layer. That's why you have to keep digging. Life is not about getting to a layer and saying, I've got it. You don't have it. You don't have it. And to admit that you are means you're being very foolish about what your life truly is. If you ever meet someone that says they completely know themselves, they're full of shit. They don't. It's impossible. It's impossible, because that would make you a person who understands every single little minute detail about the human body, and you would have to actually be able to physically speak it into reality or do something to show someone you understand yourself 100% and your work is done. And essentially saying you are a complete, perfect human being. So when somebody says, I don't need to work on myself anymore, that is laughable. That is laughable. If you want to handle that laugh part of learn, laugh, level up, just meet somebody who's full of ego and narcissism. And ask them some questions about themselves. Ask them if they believe that they're a complete person, or they have anything they need to work on. Are they afraid of anything? You're going to get a lot of nope, 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 I'm fine, I'm great, I'm perfect. How dare you ask me that? Are you feeling insecure for asking me that? You're not perfect. And then you can get them every time, because you could say, I know I'm not perfect. That's why I'm working on myself. I'm trying to be better than I was. So if you want a good laugh, ask them that and see what the answers you get. They're laughable, because they're based in a world of unrecognized fear and a level of comfortable acceptance of the version that they are, because of whatever things they have in their life right now that is making them feel content and happy and comfortable and safe, without the realization that there's something lurking underneath. And whenever it is time for that layer to be exposed, often against their will, you're going to see how little they actually know about themselves, and how they're going to take that acknowledgement out, not on themselves, but other people. Now, all of a sudden, no one helped them get to the point where they could be prepared. So now it's your fault. And it's all coming from a place of fear. People have become comfortable with procrastination. And procrastination has another word for it. It's fear. Whatever it is you're procrastinating on, there's something about it you're afraid of. And instead of people acknowledging that, they hide from it. And they let it build and build and build. And then eventually that procrastination gets so big that it turns into fear. And then people get desperate and angry and hateful when they're afraid of something, especially when it's something they know that they created. But remember, they're perfect. So now they can't go out and say to someone else, hey, I'm 100% perfect, remember, but I need your help with something. Well, that would be admitting that you're not perfect if you need help. So they're not going to say that to you. So the only way they can say, well, I'm not perfect now, and it's because of you. It's because of that place, that thing. It's no longer something that they hold as a burden for themselves. It's someone else's burden. It's some place's burden. It's some thing's burden. And it's coming from a place of fear. And what's scary about this is that they often, because they haven't dug deep enough, they don't even recognize that this is a truth in their life. To them, you are the cause of their problems. That place is the cause of their problems. That thing is the cause of their problems. And they very well may be. And maybe you did play a part in that person's destruction. But that's not your problem either. They have to face the fact that, fairly or unfairly, regardless if they thought they were perfect or not, they still have to act and react and respond to whatever it is that triggered them into that emotional, fearful state in the first place. Now, some people would rather live in a state of fear, comfortable fear, 80 to 90% of their lives, because they're comfortable. They accept the fact that there's something wrong with them, but they're not going to fix it because they're content and they're comfortable. And if they were to dare face that little fearful thing, it may disrupt everything in their lives. And have gone on so long with it that they've developed discipline. They have developed discipline in being comfortable with fear. You just think about that. If you do something enough over and over and over again, that's your discipline. That is your definition of being disciplined. I am disciplined in being comfortable with fear. And then you have the people who are the 20 to 30% range who wants to actually do something about it. Now, these people are the ones who are labeled dangerous people because they take risks and leaps of faith more often than what people are comfortable with. So now they start saying to you, well, did you fail again at that leap of faith that you had, or that risk that you took? And you can respond to, of course I did. And I'm going to continue doing this because I am continuing to grow as a human being. And these experiences I have for myself, that I've created for myself, are shaping me into the version that I hope I will be. I may not have all the answers, but I'm also not going to stop looking. An archaeologist is not going to stop ever looking for answers about this world, about the mysteries of this world. An astrophysicist is never going to look up at the sky and say, I know everything. And since we are all connected to this world and this universe, we're all here. If you can't figure out the vastness of space, you certainly cannot figure out yourself, because we're connected. There is no place where you're going to go that says the end, you have all the answers. There is no end. So all you can do is control what you have in the moment. And I tell people, if you can find a place that is humble, you have humility, and you admit that you're fucked up, and stop pretending that things are better than what they actually are, and just face them head on. That feeling of being comfortable far outweighs that feeling of being comfortable because you're being safe with who you are. All the other stuff externally have nothing to do with how safe you feel. If you feel you're safe right now and you're feeling comfortable, that is in your right to do that. But some people in this world want more. They want to know more about themselves because it's not something that's going to go away. It's something that's in them that's going to keep reminding them daily, there's something missing. And it's not a bad thing to feel that. That means something missing is something great and you want it. And it's something you're doing right now. There's someone you're with right now. There's some place you're at right now. There's something you have right now that isn't vibing with your purpose. And if you haven't found your purpose yet, you really don't know what that vibe is. It's an annoying little itch that the more you scratch it, seems the bigger it gets. So eventually you're going to have to do something about this itch. You can't just scratch it. You got to figure out where the itch is coming from. Why is it reoccurring? And what can you do about it? Finding love is self-love. And I preach it a lot, but I'm going to keep preaching it because I believe it's extremely important, because it begins with a sense of awareness. We talk about people all the time being woke. A woke person is aware. Being aware will save your life in any situation. If you walk inside of a restaurant, most people, their eyes go straight to what table they're going to sit, the menu. I had a conversation with someone and we were talking. This was a while back, right after I got woke. And I remembered one of the things about being woke when I woke up is that suddenly I became aware, much more aware of what's around me. So when I would go to a restaurant now, I remember saying to myself, I always want to find out where the exits are. I scan the people around me more. I'm always looking for ways to be prepared for anything. And it just, that sense that I had was not there before I woke up. And that awareness came in because now you have something valuable to protect. When you get to a place of self-love, you find that you do a lot of things that will make you feel protected in it. You're protecting something valuable. You know you're valuable. So now you care much more about your life. And it's a very strange feeling. It's a very strange feeling because you never had it before. And you realize it came with the self-love. The self-discipline cultivates that. And you grow that. And you start understanding every time you're in something, in a situation, with a person, you're doing whatever. Safety is your number one concern. You're protecting yourself just like you would protect your car or your house or your children. You have to protect yourself and love yourself in that exact same manner. But we often put more protection into our material things and to other people than we do for ourselves. Just think about that. You protect other people more than you protect yourself. You respect other things and people and places more than you respect yourself. You give advice to people that you don't take for yourself. You buy things for people that you don't buy for yourself. You have to start with you, or happiness is going to run from you, ladies and gentlemen. Happiness will run away from that because you have a barrier, a nasty, stinky, unattractive barrier around you when you don't put yourself first. As selfish as people want to make it out to be, it is your birthright to take care of yourself first. You drew your last breath, not someone else. You draw your first and your last. That means it's yours. Each breath you take is yours. You drew your first one, you're going to draw your last one. Everything in between that is the real story there. And no one else can take those breaths for you. People can help you take breaths. You can get put on a machine, but you still have to have the body to do it. You have to be conscious. You have to be woke to do it. Otherwise, you're dead. And when people cast shade on those who are trying to wake up and try to better themselves, I find it to be a very eye-opening experience when you see somebody who's doing something positive and there's someone next to them who's trying to knock them down over and over and over again. And it's that old saying, you fear what you don't understand. When people wake up, I had this happen to me. I woke up and I started changing some things and I was aware and I started protecting the valuable person that I am. We're all valuable. We all are. That's not a narcissistic thing. It's not a narcissistic thing to say you are valuable. We are valuable. But people don't want to hear that if they don't have that same value for themselves. And there's things about them that they don't like. And then you wake up and there's like, oh, I'm supposed to work on that kind of stuff too because I was doing that same thing you were doing. So what are you saying about me, clown? These people get so mad. And it happened to me. I was attacked. I was run out of my own house by my wife at the time because I chose to wake up. My friends started dropping like flies. My family members started thumbs down everything. My support for everything that I did started just flooding away from me. And that was a huge wake-up call for me, because I realized in that moment that once that started happening, I realized people went from being like the greatest friends, I thought, and the greatest family members, I thought, and the greatest, the workmates, and just every person in your life seemed like they abandoned you. And I remember thinking, this is a good thing. And that's another sign that you're down the right path. When you start seeing things leaving your life as a good thing, if it's not bringing value to your life, because you understand what value truly is, because it starts with you first. If you can understand the value of yourself, then you understand the value of other things around you. And everybody's value is different. Even the most enlightened people, the most woke people, their values are different from other woke people. We are all individuals, but we are all connected. There are things we can do to understand each other. And one of the greatest things I learned when I started really diving into, okay, I'm woke, now what do I do next? I had to figure out how to love myself, and it was extremely hard. And it was a focal point because I didn't love myself at the time. I damn near hated myself. And that was the whole point of the turnarounds. I got to a place where I didn't know myself. The version of myself that I knew was dying. And I knew that a redemption was in me. I knew I could change things. I knew what was inside of me, but you go so long down the right path, which you believe is the right path, and that is part of the problem. And that's where that discipline in the wrong things starts to pop up, and you start to understand and recognize, I am super disciplined about being an asshole. I am super disciplined about narcissistic qualities. I'm super disciplined in being a toxic person, about making the wrong decisions, about procrastinating, about not going 100% at everything that I do, but not knowing what I am. The list goes on, and you're disciplined about these things. And I knew that it had to be one thing at a time. And if it wasn't one thing at a time, that it would be overwhelming. And that's what makes people regress. So I knew, let's start with something simple. I didn't like the way I looked in the mirror. Let's get some confidence and start working on my weight. I wasn't severely out of shape, but I wasn't in shape either, not the way that I thought I was. The version of myself I saw was completely different. And when I recognized that, and I chose to say, enough's enough with this reflection, I'll work on the internal stuff as well, but let's get some confidence with this external. So I kind of started with both of them. I started learning about the human body, the human mind. I just started with the body. And I knew I was going to work my way inwards. I needed to get inside, but I had to understand one important factor. You gotta start somewhere. And you start with the one thing that maybe not be the hardest thing, the most important thing you need to work on. You start on the one thing that you know you can accomplish. And I knew I could lose weight. I knew I could get myself into shape. And again, I wasn't out of shape. I worked out every day. I was just in a different mindset. I was a bodybuilder and I wanted to get slimmer. I didn't want the heavy weight. I didn't want the muscles anymore. There was no need for that. Aesthetics meant nothing to me. I wanted to be able to run around with my son and not be hurting and not be tired. And I'm like, if I can't keep up with a 7-year-old, I'm pathetic at age 37, which is the age I woke up at. So when you wake up and you start piecing these things together one by one, I eventually got to self-love, and it was a challenge. And it took me up until that point. That was the longest, hardest challenge I had. And then that was followed by trust in myself. So in life, we have to figure out what are the things we have to work on, and we have to commit to them 100%. You got to go all in, and you have to do it immediately. And that's where the moment takes such a precedence over fear, because fear could be overcome by accepting the fact that you're in the moment, but not accepting the fact that you're powerless. You're in the moment, but you're not powerless. You always have a choice. There's always a choice to be had. And if that choice for you is to do something that you feel is right in your heart, regardless if anyone else understands it. It's your birthright to make that choice for yourself. We all get to a crossroads moment where we have to figure out what to do. We have that chaotic flux. That chaotic flux that just tears at us, that we don't really know what's going on. We're going down the rabbit hole of bad decisions and procrastination and fears, and being undisciplined starts to add up. It all starts to add up. But then we can do something to counteract that. And that counteraction is self-love. Asking yourself hard questions, demanding hard answers for yourself, and being committed to that. And if you can commit to something like that, if you can start focusing on something like that and aiming in and targeting a focal point like that, you're going to start building up a sense of discipline right off the bat. So that area is going to be worked on simultaneously while you're working on your self-love, because now you're doing something consistent. You're getting momentum. You're breaking up that chaotic flux, and you're trying to get to a place where you can excel at being you and being comfortable with being you. And once you start getting that pattern, that routine in your head, okay, I went a couple of days without feeling sorry for myself, without making excuses, without eating as much as I normally do. I was a lot more tired, but I got after it and I got shit done. That's self-discipline. Self-discipline frees up all that extra time you need for yourself to focus on your self-love. You need time to do this as well. We're going to talk about, in the next color wave of orange, we're going to talk about detachment. When it's time for you to go in and out of action at a moment's notice. Because that's part of the problem, is that people are afraid of unpredictability. We're afraid of what might happen instead of what is actually happening. We focus on what could happen instead of what is actually happening in the moment. When those moments come, you have to be ready to detach and take the situation as it is without freaking out or not doing anything. And we'll talk about that in the next color wave. But what's so important right now is that you have to accept the fact that the only way to really be balanced, you get that complete feeling of every day you get up and you have a purpose, and there's things that you need to do in life, and there's obligations that you have that you need to take care of, and there are priorities, and there are things that are priority urgent, and there's things that aren't so much. And the priority urgent matters need to be focal points. It's urgent, it's a priority for you to put yourself first and figure out who you are. Not you go buy a pizza and sit down and watch a football game. It is priority urgent for you to figure out why you're afraid of something, instead of going and sitting down and watching your favorite TV show and painting your nails. Life is passing you by. What's important is there. It's not going to go away. You know what's important in your life, good or bad, and what's not. What is an obligation, what is not, what is a priority, what is your action, what should be your action. Sitting there and thinking about all the actions that you're not taking when you know you should is exhausting on the mind. It's exhausting on your body. That's why they say when people have breakups, or there's a death in the family, or someone loses their job, or something big happens in their life that puts them into a funk, into a little bit of a depression, that even though you're not doing anything, you're sitting there not doing anything, you feel like you just ran 20 miles. You feel like you had worked a double shift at work, but you didn't do anything but lay there all day. It's because those feelings, those stories and routines and all the things that we do to ourselves to essentially focus on torturing ourselves adds up on the mind, on the body, on the heart and the soul. It adds up, and you will feel like you were in a car wreck, and all you've been doing is sitting there all day. That's why having a focal point and purpose and something that can distract you from all of that shit is so important, because it's always going to be there. But if you're spending time working on things and focusing on things, you don't have time to sit in depression for long. We all get into some funks. We all do it. If you can't control everything that's going on around you, at some point you have to just say, you know what, I've got to just focus on the one thing I know that I should be focusing on, and that is me. And taking it seriously. I drill this into people all the time. Be self-disciplined about your value. Be self-disciplined about your value. Respect yourself. Have control over yourself. Some self-discipline, some self-respect, some self-love. Be the person in this world you want other people to see you as, if you're going to complain about it. Which you shouldn't be complaining about what other people think of you anyway, because it's none of your business. But if you're going to do it, you better damn well be working on yourself. You better be saying, just wait, I got something to show you in a little bit. It may take me 10 years, it may take me 10 months, 10 weeks, 10 days, but eventually I'll get there. But if you're not committed to that type of a mindset and truly mean it, you're going to get self-discipline in the wrong direction, and suddenly your life of love is going to be a life of fear, hatred, depression, anxiety, and you will become a toxic individual. You have to ask yourself the hard questions and be prepared to take action on what those answers reveal to you. You have to take ownership, complete accountability for what is happening to you in your life currently, no matter how fair or unfair it actually is. This is your life to live. You have to start living it, thriving in it, not just swimming by and surviving it. You're going to get flooded out, washed away. You're going to hit the banks. Those rocks are going to tear you apart. You're going to lay there broken, and no one's going to come help you because you're lost. We don't know where you got washed away to. The only person that knows where you got washed away to is you. You can get off those rocks and you can do something about it, or you can avoid those rocks altogether by facing what's already there. The truth about you, good, bad, or ugly, is not going to go away. You need to face the ugly about yourself. Face the good and face the bad. You got to face it all and address them one focal point at a time. Your life is a priority. Your life is a priority. An urgent priority. Your birthright. To live. 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 Not to live in this life scared and afraid of yourself. To conclude, color wave red. I would say we all have kindness in our hearts. When we were born, we had a blank canvas. Over time, some people painted on there and drew lines on there that we had no control over. But eventually, life will give you an eraser. Erase whatever you need to off that fucking canvas and start your own picture. Your new picture of redemption for yourself. It is your birthright to do that. You can't control the beginning, but you damn well can control the middle and the end. You damn well can. Each moment is a new opportunity to erase and to create. If I ask of you anything, I would say, take your life as seriously as anything you would take in life. But even more than that. Know your value. Get it out of your mind that it's going to be easy. Because knowing your value is going to take hard work. Just like anything in life of value takes hard work. But you are definitely worth it. Your mission is to start today in the physical world. If you have a canvas, if you have a blank canvas, you have to start getting things into the physical world. Write down what it is in your life that you feel are priorities. And then I want you to label them, number them in the order of importance of the high priority to the lowest one. As many as you can think of. What are your priorities? Not your obligations. Those are a little bit different. Priorities. Things that you have to have in life. Write them down in the order of the importance. And then also write down all the things that you're afraid of in life. In the order that they scare you, from the scariest being the highest and the least scariest the lowest. Whatever's the top of that list needs to be your focal point. You need to face that. That is your mission, and it's a hard damn mission. Because those fears are not aligning with your priorities. Your priorities are being weakened and attacked by that list on the other side, the fears. You got to balance that list out. You got to see what fears are interrupting and disrupting the priorities. And that is your mission, to figure that out. In the physical world, make a list that you can look at every day. Put it on your refrigerator, write a list on your phone, set a reminder on your alarm to remind you to look at the list. Do whatever you got to do, but look at it every day, because that list is not going to go away. It's inside of you. You need to face it. And that is your mission. Get that list, a list of priorities, highest to lowest, list of fears, highest to lowest, and examine it and figure out which ones are in conflict with each other. It's a simple exercise that would guide you to where you need to be to start fixing some of those things and start making more of the priority list about living instead of the fears about living. This is your day. You are here now. These are your moments. You own them. You are brave, bold, powerful. You do believe in yourself. You know you have more in the tank. You know the glass is half full. There is still more room for improvement. There is no end. Believe, believe, believe in yourself. You do believe in yourself. You do believe you can do whatever it takes to get the job done. You don't procrastinate. You don't embellish. You don't lie. You're true to yourself. Peace is in your mind. Peace is in your heart. Peace is in your body. It is definitely in your soul. You are greatness. You have purpose, intentful purpose. You are here for a reason. You are ambitious. You are loving. You are kind, empathetic, compassionate. You are self-love. You have self-control, self-respect. You are joy, peace, freedom, happiness. You are connected to everything in this world and in this universe. And if no one has told you this today, I love you. You deserve to hear that. Salute to you all. The brave never fall. Learn, laugh, and level up.